Lit a fire in him. Dwight Howard claims credit for igniting spark in Nikola Jokić in pivotal playoff series. In a headline-grabbing revelation that set the basketball world ablaze, Dwight Howard has declared that he was the one who lit a fire in Nikola Jokić, the Denver Nuggets two-time MVP and reigning Finals MVP. During a recent interview, Howard reflected on their intense 2020 Western Conference Finals battle, claiming his physical defense, relentless energy, and psychological warfare were the catalysts that pushed Jokić to evolve into the dominant force we know today. "People don't remember how much I was in that man's head," Howard said confidently. "I wasn't just out there to foul him or mess around, I was there to challenge him. I wanted to bring the dog out of him. I think that series lit a fire in him that still burns today." That single statement quickly went viral across social media. Fans flooded X, formerly Twitter, with memes, jokes, and debates. Was Howard really responsible for Jokic's transformation, or was this just Dwight trying to recapture some spotlight years after his prime? Regardless of the opinion, one thing is clear: Howard and Jokic's battle in the bubble was unforgettable. Back in the 2020 playoffs, the Lakers and Nuggets clashed in what became one of the most entertaining Western Conference Finals in recent memory. Jokić, already recognized for his elite passing and touch, faced off against an experienced and physically imposing Dwight Howard. The Lakers strategically unleashed Howard to disrupt Jokic's rhythm. It wasn't just basketball, it was psychological warfare. Every bump, every shove, every word was designed to frustrate the young superstar. Howard embraced his role as the Lakers' enforcer. He wasn't putting up big offensive numbers, but his impact was undeniable. He played with intensity, grabbed rebounds, and made life difficult for Jokić at every turn. It was old-school basketball, physical, gritty, and relentless. And while the Lakers ultimately won the series 4-1 en route to an NBA championship, that matchup left a lasting impression on everyone involved, including Jokić. At the time, Jokić was still developing into the player he would become. He had the skill, the vision, and the touch, but some critics argued that he lacked the killer instinct and toughness that separates great players from legends. Howard, meanwhile, saw himself as the ultimate test, a veteran big man who knew how to get under his opponent's skin. Jokić didn't like it at first, Howard continued. He was frustrated. But he learned from it. You could see it in his eyes. He was figuring it out, even as we were beating them. That's why I respect him. He didn't fold, he evolved. And now look at him, he's the best big man in the game. That fire I lit never went out. Those words stirred mixed reactions among fans and analysts alike. Some sided with Dwight, saying his defense and intensity in that series genuinely played a role in Jokic's growth. Others argued that Jokić was already on a historic trajectory long before the bubble. The Serbian superstar's combination of finesse, footwork, and basketball IQ had already made him one of the most unique players in the NBA. However, there's a kernel of truth in Howard's claim. Since that playoff defeat, Jokic's career has skyrocketed. He's become virtually unstoppable, winning 2 MVPs, leading the Nuggets to their first ever championship in 2023, and silencing every doubt about his toughness and leadership. Many point to the 2020 series as a defining learning experience. Jokić faced a physical defense, constant double teams, and a veteran determined to test his limits. Instead of shying away, he absorbed the challenge, learned from it, and came back even stronger. Analyst Kendrick Perkins commented on the situation, saying, "Dwight's not wrong. Iron sharpens iron." That bubble series was like Jokic's final exam before he became elite. Dwight pushed him, and Jokić passed that test with flying colors. Others, like Richard Jefferson, took a more playful jab at Howard's comment. Dwight claiming he made Jokić great is like your high school coach taking credit for your NBA contract, he joked on a podcast. Despite the debate, the respect between the two players is real. Howard, known for his colorful personality and controversial career trajectory, understands how tough it is to stay at the top. Jokić, on the other hand, represents everything that defines the modern big man: versatility, vision, and composure under pressure. Howard later added, "You can tell a lot about a player by how they handle adversity. I threw everything I had at Jokić, the talking, the contact, the mind games, and he still came back better. That's greatness. I've been in the league long enough to know when someone's special, and he's definitely special." It's not hard to see why Howard's comment struck a chord. The two players are complete opposites in many ways. Dwight was all about athletic dominance and charisma, the dunk contests, the smiles, the Superman cape. Jokić, on the other hand, is understated, calm, and methodical, relying on skill and IQ rather than flash. Yet, their brief encounter in the playoffs became a symbolic passing of the torch from one era of big men to the next. For Howard, those bubble playoffs were a renaissance moment. After years of being labeled difficult or washed up, he redefined himself as a defensive specialist and energy player, ultimately winning his first NBA championship. For Jokić, that same series may have been the final spark that pushed him toward championship greatness. As fans revisit that matchup now, it feels like a pivotal moment in modern NBA history. Jokić took the lessons from that defeat and transformed them into fuel for his rise. His evolution since then has been staggering, from being called too slow and too unathletic to becoming one of the most efficient and dominant forces in basketball. In a way, Howard's statement isn't entirely self-serving. It's a reflection of the truth that competition breeds greatness. Every great player has that moment, that wake-up call, where they realize what it takes to truly dominate. For Jokić, perhaps Dwight Howard was that moment. Even Jokic's demeanor now reflects that transformation. He no longer shows frustration when faced with aggressive defenders. Instead, he stays calm, reads the floor, and dissects opponents with surgical precision. He's no longer the player who reacts emotionally, he's the one dictating every move. Howard's claim that he lit a fire in Jokić might sound boastful, but in the broader story of both their careers, it fits perfectly. Howard represented the past, an athletic, powerful, defensive machine from the 2000s era. Jokić represents the present, a cerebral, all-around big man redefining the position. In the end, whether Dwight truly ignited Jokić or simply gave him a taste of elite playoff defense doesn't really matter. What matters is that both players left their mark on each other, and on NBA history. Howard summed it up best when he said, "Every great player needs that challenge that changes them." I was that for him. And honestly, I'm proud of that. Because now, every time I watch him dominate, I see a little bit of that fire I helped start. And whether fans agree with him or not, there's no denying that the 2020 playoff series between Dwight Howard and Nikola Jokić became a defining chapter, a battle that bridged generations and helped shape one of the greatest big men of this era.